Hello, 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 everybody. It's Stevie Aisha Mills, and we're back for another conversation. Get excited. I love the conversation with Stevie because we're able to have so many phenomenal people who come to empower, inspire, educate, and motivate us. And today is no different. We have the amazing Felicia Lucas here. She is a minister, a #1 international best-selling author, a speaker, a coach, a publisher who passionately and enthusiastically helps individuals grow spiritually and professionally. She also helps them enhance their relationships and become wonderfully well from the inside out. Felicia, along with her husband, Pastor Kelvin Lucas, are the co-founders of Take It by Force Ministries, Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit community-based young and young adult organization, and Dominion Tabernacle Church. They have been married for over 20 years and have 3 children. She is the founder and CEO of his Glory Creations Publishing, LLC, and A Moment in Time special event planning. Felicia graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with a BA degree in speech communications, and for over 22 years has worked in the human resources field. She currently works as a regional human resources facilitator and store manager for a national retailer. All right. So without saying anything else, she's very accomplished. Y'all know that. Hi, Felicia. Welcome to the conversation.
Hello, Stevie. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. Oh my goodness, it's so amazing because we've gotten the opportunity to know each other a lot over the last few months, and it's exciting. I'm like, yeah, she's a bad chick. That's what I could say to sum up that whole resume of information about your personal and professional life. And I think it's so amazing because you're such a humble and modest woman, I think, and it just like people don't know what they are in for when you come to the scene, and it's a beautiful thing. So I want to talk just about how you keep that spirit of humility, which is very important, and you have accomplished all of these things because there are some people who have not accomplished as much as you have, and they brag like they have. So, and that's the truth of the matter. So let's talk about where that beautiful spirit comes from and how you keep it well maintained.
Well, for me, Stevie, and I'm also about wanting to be transparent and real, for people. So when I talk, for me, my foundation is my relationship with God. And I think for the years that I have cultivated that relationship, that even though, things happen that are phenomenal, all the accolades that you just read about me are there, but at the end of the day, I just find myself as, God's child wanting to serve others. And how I'm able to keep that spirit of humility is that it's not about me. It's about someone else. And so whatever I can do in my life to help someone else be their best in whatever capacity, be it professionally, personally, spiritually, relationally, I want to use my life as an example and to allow that individual to grow and to be who they are. So when you take out the me aspect of it and I focus on them, that's what keeps me humble.
That's awesome. That's awesome because so many people, especially in this day of social media, and personal branding as well, when that is not the thing that we see, when that is not the thing that happens, we are so me-centered instead of we-centered. I think that's a beautiful thing that you're saying, that you're like, I don't forget about we. And what has been that biggest moment in your life that helped you to remember that, if you could pinpoint any one moment?
The biggest moment of my life that could help me remember that, I would say it's when I have a young lady that I mentor, and I had no idea, as we went through this mentoring process, I had no idea as to, really how she felt about me or the impact that I was having in her life. And as she was going through some of the things that she was going through, she lost her mother. And I didn't realize that as she was going through this process that I was, the one that was helping her get through. I didn't realize that my life, she was looking at my life as an example as to, how to cope and how to balance. And, a lot of times how people watch you behind the scenes and you don't know they're watching. So that moment that she actually revealed to me that she saw me as her mother was huge for me. And it showed me that what the things that I am doing, that they're not in vain, and that my life can be an example. So for me, that was an eye-opening moment, or a real representation of, you do what you're supposed to do, you treat people like you're supposed to do, you impact them and empower them, and they don't always necessarily come back and tell you that impact, but the moment that they do, it just puts it all into play, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to serve her in that capacity.
Awesome. Yes, mentoring is key, and on both sides, right? Being mentored and mentoring, I think that the reciprocal relationship in that is one that truly is life-changing and truly is, it helps to edify each party. And it's such a beautiful thing when you're able to put that in practice. And so we know that you do a lot of great, phenomenal work with teens and young adults, and that is often the forgotten generation. People often say they don't want to work with teens for whatever reason. I have done a lot of work with teens myself, and some of the things that I've heard are they just are too disrespectful and they don't know how to act and this and that. But why have you landed your plane into that segment of the population?
And it's interesting that you asked me that question, because I start to go back and I start reflecting on my life, and the majority of my adult life I have poured into empowered young people. And I think for me, the key has been that I want to be able to help someone else, maybe in areas that I was not helped in. And that's no disrespect to, teachers and family and those individuals in our lives. But there's that, because that population is often overlooked, because that population is often misunderstood, because that population is often thought of as not having a contribution to society, I have been drawn to that. And, over 22 years I have been working with young people. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them in different capacities, personally, spiritually, even professionally, helping them to go through life and planting those seeds. So there's a drawing there from me, because I remember what it felt like to be a young person. I remember what it felt like to be a young adult, and knowing that the sooner that as a young person taps into what they're born to do, it makes that transition from young person to adult, it makes it somewhat smoother. And so I learned that if I had learned my purpose earlier in life, I think that there are some things, some roads that I might not have gone down, or some things that I might not have done, because I was encouraged to pursue that purpose. So that population is special to me. And even as a mom, I still have 3 children here that they give me great practice on how to stay relatable and in the world, because I live my life with them as well.
Perfect. And you've packaged a program that is geared towards them. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. So the ministry is called Say Goodbye Force Ministries Incorporated. But the segment of that, we have a leadership component, we have a writing component, an empowerment component. But our signature message is called Get in the Game, and it is a team's playbook for winning the game of life. So we use the game of basketball as a kind of like an outline of how basketball flows and how you use that in reference to how they make that applicable to their life. So the program is really sectioned out as to how they, ultimately we love to get them at middle school age and kind of follow them through high school and beyond to kind of, make sure that they have that playbook. Because what I've found as I've gone on this journey, there's a lot of kids that don't have a playbook, and it could be for various reasons. They may have not an interest in life. They may not have an interest in growing and expanding, or they may have the peer group that's influencing them not to go down that route, or they even might have family members that don't encourage that. So our program is geared towards those young people that may not have that guidance and may not have that direction, but we're practical, everyday, real examples of how they can go through that process. So that whole package is called, get in the game. Get in the game.
Awesome, and you did some great work with the packaging over the summer. One of the events I got to be at, and that was exciting to see the action occur. So as we transition into more of the work that you do as an author, because I think that is very cool that you are not only an author, but you are a publisher as well, what are the different types of books? We know that you have Get in the Game, and we also know that you have a couple of books just that are so exciting that they're now in the market, that they are revolutionizing. I know. My Chapel Hill sister could tell me if that's a real word. I make up words all the time. So
good. You all good.
They are bringing that to the surface of just personal development and the compilation. Sorry. I'm excited to talk to you, Felicia, if you can't tell, because you're one of my favorite people on this here. Right? So this beautiful collaboration that you have, I know, is new, and I really want to talk about how you are bringing just personal development to a new, powerful position in the marketplace with the work that you're doing as an author and a publisher.
So for the longest time, Stevie, I did not want to share my story. As a speaker, I would speak, but I would speak just to kind of surface kind of stuff. And I've been challenged over the past couple of years as to you got to share not just the good, but you got to share the bad. And so, or the situations where you went through a difficulty. So last year in 2016, I released my first book, which is Make It Happen, Moving Towards Your Best You, where I actually told some aspects of my life that no one knew other than my husband and, maybe a couple of friends. So I talk about, there was a time when our marriage was not at the best state it could be. I talk about how I was laid off from a job, and, those things that are important that people don't want to talk about. I didn't talk about that publicly. So as an author, what I would find is when I would go out to speak, people would say, there's got to be more to you than this. And they would challenge me on that. So the first book gave me that opportunity to put that to paper, and so that I'm able to share my story and how to inspire others from how I've lived. And as a result of me sharing that first story, I've had the opportunity to connect with other people that have that same vision. They want to tell their story. They're kind of afraid to tell their story, but they know that the book is also an avenue to do that. So my company, His Glory Creations Publishing, I actually have been in business for over 15 years as a publisher, but it was desktop publishing. And so at that time, I was helping ministries and nonprofits, design different types of things to kind of market and to kind of help their organization. So it kind of evolved into a actually book publishing company as I've gone through this process. So my mission for the company is that we effectively, professionally, and affordably help individuals get that story into the world, and we do it with the utmost form of excellence, because it's what we do is for His glory. So I am honored to have partnered with a group of 10 women who have experienced, oh my God, so many different areas of adversity in their lives. But at the end of the day, they were able to bounce back. And at the end of the day, they were able to persevere. At the end of the day, they were resilient. So those stories are vital in helping other individuals so they can understand the bounce back. And so as a result, the movement, the bounce back movement, was born, and that particular book will be released in fall of 2017. And it was just from an idea that God gave me, and I didn't know how it was going to come together, but the women that came aboard were so eager to be a part of this project, and I'm just so glad that they are willing. For some of them, this is the first time that they told someone that they had been molested. This is the first time they told someone they had been raped. I mean, to that extent of being free, and that's what they tell me. My authors say, this has actually freed me because I'm now able to talk about it, and so I'm very thankful for this opportunity to collaborate with them as well.
Well, that's awesome because, Nancy, you know the scripture. The Son sets free is free indeed. And so, yes, that's beautiful because what happens is that they now can soar in that freedom, and that's a beautiful thing. Once you get shackled, there's nothing else holding you back. So
Amen.
I'm excited about that. I love freedom. I appreciate freedom. And I know that you also do something on Fridays. Get excited about Fridays. Fridays are the greatest day of the week for many people, and you've made it even that more special. What do you do on Fridays?
Well, a little bird by the name of Stevie Aisha Mills was encouraging me to be more visible on social media and to be more visible with my message. And so I had not ever, even though I loved speaking in front of groups, but I was always afraid to do a Facebook Live or to go on Periscope. And so you encouraged me to just do it, just try it. And so as a result of it, you saying that, it kind of clicked in my head like, well, why not? Everyone else has tried it. Why can't I try it? We'll see what happens. So as a result, Fridays with Felicia was birthed. We did our first segment on the first Friday in February of 2017. And every Friday, with the exception of one, we have gone live. And we share stories of the week, inspirations, announcements of things that I have going on. But people look forward to just that quick segment, anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, just me talking to them. And for me, I look forward to having that and building that audience and people, inboxing me, what time is your segment today? And because I travel a lot with my job, so the time changes on Fridays, but I make sure that I'm going to come and talk and to share and to inspire. So Fridays with Felicia at this point is just on Fridays, and we'll just have to see. I've been being very prayerful as to what that looks like futuristically as, my audience expands and different things that I'm doing. I want to try some different things. But the signature basis at this point is Fridays with Felicia every Friday via Facebook Live.
Awesomeness. Yes, I love when people sign that permission slip to their lives. Yes. And you mentioned something very important, and that was you being a parallelpreneur. And I know that there are a lot of people who are being both the boss of their business and also being that example of an employee. And so what advice could you give to people who are trying to say, should I go back into the employment field? Should I just try to push along? What can I do both? What advice would you give to them?
I get that question a lot. I get that question where people say, well, why aren't you full-time entrepreneur or why aren't you full-time corporate? And for me personally, at this point, I'm balancing both. And the advice that I have is you have to be true to who you are. If whatever you decide to do, you have to be true to that. So if you make a decision, as I am, 100% in corporate, but also 100% in my business as well, that means that there's a level of sacrifice too. So a lot of times when everyone else is asleep, even though I've worked, 9, 10, 11-hour day, coming home, I might devote 2 to 3 hours in my business. Is that a major sacrifice? Absolutely, it is. But at the end of the day, my businesses are still moving along. I'm still having an opportunity to do that because I enjoy what I do for my personal businesses. But I also enjoy what I do in corporate. So my advice is you have to know where your ministry is. And a lot of times, the term a marketplace minister, that's what I am. What I do in my corporate job, working in human resources, I still have an opportunity to do those things that I do also in my business. So I'm very fortunate that I'm able to do both. And it's, and I will do both until I feel that God says, okay, it's time. And I have been a component of, when you cultivate that relationship with him, he lets you know that, okay, enough is enough. This is where I'm focusing you on. And while that's happening, I'm still going to build my entrepreneurial journey. I'm going to still build that business because I do believe at some point there will be a separation. But that's, that's in his timing, and it could be any, at whatever point he decides to do that. But if that does not happen, I will still continue to move along and devote the time for both because they're both at this point to me are important.
Awesome. And I know that I've seen your growth definitely this year as you've been an I Love My Life ambassador, and even really more closely in the I Love My Life intensive, as well as helping the work that we've done with experience and graduation. You've been a great catalyst of just being who you say you are. I love it. People like that. You helped me. You've called me coach, and I'm like, I've learned so much from you. But
wow.
The thing about it is truly that I appreciate the relationship that we've had, and I just want to hear your thoughts. A lot of people have asked about I Love My Life Ambassador, and I can't really, I have my own thoughts because it's my program. But what would you say to somebody who would ask you that question?
So I met you via social media through someone that I know last summer. And so you had posted about the program, and to be honest, I had no idea what I was signing up for, but I knew that it was something that I needed. I'm just going to be just honest with you. I just knew based on what I read, it was something that I needed. And whenever you're drawn to someone or drawn to a program, and you know how God works, I knew I needed it. And I knew the next level in which I needed to go into within my business or within my ministry, I knew what I needed I could find in that program. As it began to go, and I always joke about, the investment that I made in that, I had that back within the first 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it was like, that investment, that was gone because of all the information, all the resources being poured back into me. It was more than what, for one, I didn't know what it was, but it was more, once I got in it, the value of what I had was more than what I even thought I could have. And then, as the program goes along, you have stretched us, you have challenged us, you celebrated us, you reprimanded us. I mean, that's all part of the process. When we're doing things great, you say yes. There's times where we could have made better choices. We talk about that. So I think that that's a balance because you need that in ministry. You need that in employment or however you whatever your goal is, you need a balance of that. So that program really, for me, has stretched me really outside of my comfort zone. It's allowed me to see things a little differently. And at the end of the day, I can say I love my life. And it's not about all the things that have happened. It's about knowing that I'm walking in purpose and knowing that I'm walking in my destiny and knowing that at the end of the day that God is being glorified. And so anyone that asks me, and they have asked me about this program, why is this so important to you? For one, it's important because I wanted to be able to say I love my life. And so now, as being in the program 10 months, at this point, I can say, yes, I love my life. I love where it's going. I love the seeds that you've planted within me, and I just want to continue to grow, continue for them to cultivate, and so that I can be that person that God has called me to be.
Awesome sauce. You said I love my life, and that blessed my life. That makes every Let 2017 the best year of my life, because that is truly what the prayer has been. And so thank you for sharing that. I know that you have an incredible event coming up next Saturday. I'm so excited because it's my birthday this month, so all Saturdays are together. But next Saturday, right, October 14th,
yes,
you have an incredible event. See, I know the date. I know about it, but
yes.
Tell us about it.
So for many years, I always talk about how I would go to everyone else's conference, and I was seeking out a conference. And I remember one day I was at work, and it was God spoke so clear. He's like, that what you're seeking to go to, you need to do it for yourself. And I said, whoa. Okay. So I'm seeking out a conference, but he said at this point you need to do your own. And so that's how it was birthed. It was very, very clear as day. And this is an actual women and teen girls brunch. So I think that it was really good to bring not just the women together, but that population that, we talked about is so passionate in my heart to reach. Getting the 13 to 18-year-olds as well. So the women come, they bring their daughters, or the grandma comes, she brings her granddaughter. The auntie comes, she brings her niece, that kind of thing, where we're together. And the theme for the brunch is make it happen for you. Because I am a component that you have to, as an individual, make some things happen. We always we wait on God all the time. We're like, God, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do this? But at the end of the day, I feel that sometimes he's saying, when are you going to do it? Because when you decide, okay, I'm going to do this, that's when he hooks up with what's in our hearts, and he makes it possible. So just wanted to this first one, an encouragement to the teenage girls, encouragement to the moms out there, the encouragement to the grandmas out there that there's, it comes a point in your life you got to make it happen. You can't sit and wait for somebody else to do it. You have a responsibility. So I am so excited that our first event will be in October of 2017, where our girls and the women are coming together to fellowship and be inspired as they move towards their best selves.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm excited for you. I always say October is the greatest month of the year. So anything that happens in October, it's going to be blessed already. And we already know you have been praying. Your minister and the woman of God have been praying, and I've been praying for the success of this event. So I am excited. And how can people get tickets to come to the event?
So you can go to my website, which is FeliciaLucas.com, and click on the Events tab. You can get there as well. Or if you go on Eventbrite and put in Wendell, North Carolina, and make it happen, it'll come up as well there.
Awesome sauce, awesome sauce. And so the last question I normally ask people who come to the conversation is definitely, have we left anything on the table? Do you have anything that you're like, Stevie, before we leave today, the people have got to know this?
Yeah, I'll say this. So what I'd like to leave with the audience on today, and I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier in this segment, is you have to figure out what you're born to do. And I think that that's the big piece that a lot of people miss as they go through life. They try this, they try that, and at the end of the day, are you really doing what you were born to do? We all have a purpose. We all have a destiny. There's a plan. There's a journey that we have to be on. And so tapping into what is it? Where is my passion area? What purpose am I supposed to leave on this earth? I think that's the key. And I always say, in reference to my books, my children, my grandchildren at some point, great-grandchildren, great-great-great-grandchildren, however that plays out, will always have that permanent record of, this is what I did when I was in my 20s. This is how I thought when I was in my 30s. This is how I was living in my 40s. There's a permanent record there. And so as I continue to write other books and write other stories and put those things in print, I am leaving that legacy for those that come after me. So in order to do that, though, you got to know what you were born to do. So I would encourage the listeners on that are listening to this broadcast, that getting that clarity, getting that precision. And those were two words that I said to God in January of 2017. I wanted clarity and I wanted precision. I didn't want to just be doing things to be doing it. No, I did not. I wanted him to clearly show me what's the next step, and I wanted it to be precise about doing it. And I can honestly say that how this year has played out from the beginning of the year to now to almost to the end of the year, he has shown me clarity as to who I'm supposed to serve, and he has been precise as to how that's supposed to be executed. So I just encourage you to seek first him, and that he will lead you and guide you into what that thing that you were born to do.
All righty, y'all heard it. Y'all better get in the game. And so as we leave, please give your contact information one more time.
Yes. So on social media, I am on Facebook. You can reach me at author Felicia Lucas. You can also find me on Twitter at Move to Your Best You, and the U is a capital U, so it's Move to Your Best You. On YouTube and Instagram as Coach Felicia Lucas. And, of course, my website, FeliciaLucas.com, has everything about me there as well, as the publisher, the author, the speaker, our contact me page. So we would love to hear from you as you read and find out more about who I am. I would love for you to connect with me via social media as well.
Awesome sauce. Thank you for being here today. We definitely appreciate you stopping by and having a conversation with us. And I want to now segue a little bit to our sponsor of the show. The show is actually sponsored, and that's a beautiful thing, by Moments That Matter Event Planning. Again, Moments That Matter Event Planning. And you can contact them at events@mtmeventplanning.com. And they specialize in creating extraordinary moments, extraordinary from y'all. I like extraordinary because God adds his extra to our ordinary and makes it extraordinary. What? Anyway, it's a professional and innovative team of event management specialists with 10-plus years of experience in planning and designing high-end events. Their passion is in the creation of behind-the-scenes event details, thus creating a frustration-free experience for their clients that lasts a lifetime. At MTM, they leverage live events to help grow your business. Awesome. Again, this has been Stevie Aisha Mills of The Conversation with Stevie. We have had a conversation today with the amazing woman of God, Felicia Lucas. And you all know how to contact me. You just have to know how to spell my first name, Stevii. Again, Stevii. And find me at Stevie.com, all over social media and everywhere else. So, again, thank you to Moments That Matter Event Planning. Contact them at events@mtmeventplanning.com. And thank you to Felicia Lucas. Guys, make it a great day. I never say have a great day. Make it a great day. Why? Because you, and yes, you too, have the power to do so. Bye for now.